Why are you good at so many different things and you have so many different interests, but you aren't committing to any of them? And what happens is you end up working some job you don't feel any deep connection with, but you're not really doing and building and working on the thing that you're actually passionate about and interested in. And why is this? And in this video, I'm gonna share my process and what it was like for me before and what I changed and then what happened after I went through this process. For me, I was really good at music. I was really into music, DJing. I was going to like producing school and stuff like this. Even when I was like 16, 17, I was really into writing and stuff like this. Then I was building a YouTube channel and I was into videography. And again, people asked me for it. I was really into fitness. But the same thing that happens to a lot of people with a lot of different interests, I wasn't making any money with them and I wasn't pursuing them as a career. I usually did them for a few months or even shorter sometimes. And then I would go and I would pursue something completely else that had nothing to do with it. And I wasn't stacking my skills in any meaningful way. And it felt like I was going nowhere. And the worst part is because I was going like first in this direction, then I changed to that direction, then again to this direction, then maybe back to this direction. I started feeling ashamed and guilty because I started so many different things, but I really didn't feel like I was finishing any of them and not making money with them. And one of the main reasons I had to understand is what stops me usually from committing and from staying with it long term is high expectations. So every time, for example, let's take the DJing example. Every time I started with the DJing, I had extremely high expectations of what will happen. So I started playing in some clubs and I was imagining myself that after a few months I'll be playing like resident DJ in like the biggest clubs in my town there in Germany and in the bigger city in Germany that was next to me. And obviously that didn't happen. The first gigs I had, like I was like the opener, people didn't show up. I was kind of playing only for my friends. And I was playing some really small private village parties. And no, I wasn't on Tomorrowland, not Ultra Music Festival, not any of them. And because I went into this with these really high expectations, and I know a lot of people with many different interests have the same thing, because you're very imaginative and you have a lot of ideas and you're very creative probably. And you start to imagine this incredible future in your mind. And if you haven't achieved that future after like 3 months, usually reality hits a little bit. And I started to feel a little bit disappointed. And this disappointment often caused me to then quit because in my mind, I wasn't making progress fast enough and it didn't work. And for that reason, I then decided or came to the conclusion that I might be off better somewhere else. And this happens to a lot of people I see as well. If you go into something with the wrong expectations, you're already kind of setting yourself up for failure. And what I changed there is, for example, in the beginning, I was focused a lot on the outcome. So I was just interested in what can I achieve quickly, how can I make it fast, and how can I achieve something super quick. And the worst part is that the more often you change things around and the more often you start and stop and you start something new, fresh again. And with every time you stop, the more shame and guilt builds up in your body. And this shame and guilt will drive you to be even more impatient and to want results even quicker. And because that doesn't happen, you're more likely to actually stop the more often you have done this. And it's not a bad thing. I overcame this and broke through this as well, and you can too. But you have to switch from actually focusing too much on the outcome to focusing on your actions. So with the DJing, I was just focused on, how quick can I be a resident DJ somewhere else? How quick can I get girls because I'm such a cool DJ? How quick can I play in front of 1,000 people somewhere and make money and fly around on a private jet and stuff like this? And obviously this doesn't happen after a year. This usually happens like after 5 to 10 years. And you have to get lucky as well a little bit. And for example, when I started then doing fitness stuff, I pursued it for a very long time. And there's this picture I showed before as well of me. This happened after 5-6 years of really rigorously going to the gym 5 times a week. And here I wasn't focused on going on stage or having any kind of outcome thing with it. I was focused really hardcore on my actions. So I had no expectations. In the beginning, I just started that I want to lose weight. So I had actually very low expectations because I achieved that after like 6 months. I lost like 10 kilos. Then I kind of had my goal of just having a six pack. And afterwards, I wasn't focused on any goal pretty much. I was just focused on my actions. Like how many times can I go to the gym? How much progress can I make every single week? How much weight can I put on? How clean can I eat? And all of these things are pretty much endless because I can always go to the gym. I can always eat cleaner. I can always put on more weight and more weights in the gym. And by focusing on the action, I wasn't focused so much on the outcome and therefore had very low expectations of what will happen. And having these low expectations caused me to stick with it for a very long time. And even now, if I were to start a completely new project or even with the YouTube channel I'm doing right now, I don't care about the outcome. I'm not doing it for the outcome. And if I were to focus on the outcome, especially in my first months, then I would probably stop and quit doing this as well. And because I'm just focusing on how much videos can I put out, how consistent can I be, how many videos can I put out in a row, or my goal was to put out 30 videos. That one is the 30th in 30 days. And by just focusing on the action, I don't care how much my subscribers go up, and therefore I don't lose motivation with it, and I continuously do it for a very long time. So that is such a key thing you have to put, and it was a game changer for me to just lose these expectations and to just focus on the action. What can I do and what can I put in? Forget the outcome. Just set it as a direction and then just iterate your actions. Another thing that caused me to stop doing the other things and continuously do the things over there is usually was what kept me from committing to one thing is I imagine all these other things as doors. So for example, I had let's say this is dropshipping, this is YouTube, this is being a DJ, this is starting my agency or copywriting thing, and let's say I was also into cooking and maybe I wanted to be a chef, okay? And the problem is that what I did for a long time, I would kind of go into this direction, but then I felt like I was betraying all the other ones and I was kind of missing out, so like FOMO. So I kind of left and went back to my starting point. And then I would kind of go here, try this a little bit, kind of feel the same thing, didn't really have results immediately, fell short of my expectations, felt also I was abandoning the other ones, and also talked myself into feeling like, hey, maybe I could make some progress somewhere else faster, which is not true. The grass isn't greener. So shiny object syndrome, pretty much. Then I went back and on to the next one. And this went on until I actually sat down and number one, I realized I can do all these things. I can go through all these different doors, but I can't make it at the same time. I just can't. And especially give or take, you live 80 years. That's the average lifespan. You have enough time to go through all your different interests. And if you write them down, it's probably not 100. It's probably like 5 you're probably really into, maybe 10, maybe 15 that sometimes spark your interest. And if you even just reflect on your life, and I see it in my life, like some interests, they will just naturally run out. Like I'm not as passionate about some things that I was when I was 17, but I'm passionate about some other stuff. And some things will just stick. And those are usually the really important ones. And the other ones you can just forget because they're not really that meaningful to you anyway. And what I needed to do is I just needed to decide that I will, for example, the agency, I remember sitting down and I was making this decision that I would just focus on the agency now. And I would go hard for a year in the beginning, and then I can evaluate my progress. I can see if I want to continue to do it, if I want to change things a little bit. But for a year, I'm just going to put down my head and I will just do the thing. And I will forget about the other ones and I can come back to them. But until then, I will just do it. And that really transformed my life, because in that year, I made it up to 10K, and then I had like a lot of momentum going up, 10K per month. And over the next 1 to 2 years, I actually got the agency up to 48K per month because I committed to it. And while I was doing this, I also opened myself up to some other interests. And for one, I realized that some interests weren't that important to me, and other interests I can pursue now. And sometimes you need also some cash flow and some money, or something that you really need to do before until you can pursue all the other interests. For example, another interest I had was traveling. I wanted to see a lot of different countries, but I knew I needed some money for it. So I was pretty clear that this is the most important thing, the agency thing. And then I can travel, which I then did. And understanding this as well helps a lot. Like if you really sit down and you realize like, hey, if I'm not fully pursuing this one thing right now, then all the other ones are irrelevant because I'm not going to make any use of them anyway. If I weren't pursuing the business thing, then I probably also wasn't pursuing the cooking or the DJing or the music or anything else. Only by committing to one thing, I'm also then able to pursue the other ones, because otherwise I keep staying in this loop over here where I don't do anything and I just feel shitty and guilty because I'm not really doing anything with my time.